traders, and welcome to episode 3. We left off in episode 2 where we were looking at the strategy that we've built to take trades when the prices crosses above the upper band and then crosses below the upper band to do a sell trade. And, and on the opposite side, we wait for prices to cross the lower band and then to cross above the lower band to take a buy trade. Today we're going to cover, we wanted to confirm whether the buy and the sell trades are actually working based on a strategy. And then what we would like to do in this episode is continue to build a profitable strategy using Bollinger Bands. Now, it requires more than just following simple rules. It involves understanding the market context, customizing indicators, the introduction of a robust risk management for it to be profitable. We also need to understand and contextualize the market environment in which the Bollinger Band operates. There are things one will need to consider to make this a profitable strategy. You can see when the Bollinger Bands squeeze, right? They travel on a really narrow band. Okay, we're looking at here probably about 28 pips, but indicating that the market is trading in a bit of a range type market. So we'll look at how we can actually build a strategy that will make it profitable to trade when the market is in a narrow range market or when the market is trending, right? The way to know that the market is trending is because you can see the distance between the upper and the lower band of the Bollinger Band it's actually a lot wider when the versus when the market is in a narrow band, right? Like it is here, no more than 30 pips compared to looking at 112 pips between the two bands. Okay. But let's just for now confirm that the bot is taking trades on the sell side. So that was on the buy side, so we'll ignore that. So let's just look at when the price crosses the upper band, right, for now. So let's let all those buy continue. Still a buy, carry on. Still haven't had a sell trade up to this point. Right, we had one here. So you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what happened. The price went above the upper band. Immediately on the next candle, the price crossed over the upper band. And once that candle closed on the next candle, we took a trade, right? Making turned out to be a profitable trade in that instance. So we'll look at some more. At least we know that the bot is taking trades both on the upper side as well as on the sell side, which is great, right? So it means that the bot is doing what we asked it to do so far. So what next, right? I guess what we need to do next, now that we know that the bot is taking trades, so I'll let the bot run for a little bit so you guys can appreciate what it's doing and why it's taking the trades that it's doing. What you will notice, right? What you will notice with the Bollinger Band is that if it's on the upside, prices tend to sort of gravitate above the moving average. In this instance, we've got to set the 20-day moving average. So prices tend to gravitate above the moving average and always, sort of touching the upper band, right? And on the downside, okay, price tend to more follow below the moving average and tend to wiggle and gravitate, between the moving average and the lower band, right? That's where you know when the direction of the market. Okay, so now I guess we want to start looking at introducing various other confirmation indicators that can help us reduce false signals. Okay, so we'll be looking at RSIs, introduction of RSIs, maybe some the MACD indicator, moving average convergence and divergence indicator to help us pick reversal. Might look up some price actions, right? And of course maybe some support and resistance, right? We've got to try all this in order to make this bot profitable, right? We can also play around with some of the moving average. Some day traders like to use a 10 period moving average with a 1.5 standard deviation. Swing traders tend to use something a little bit bigger than that, 20, 25, 50 period moving average with a 2.5 standard deviation, right? And they will do some back testing, see which one of all these different settings plus the inclusion of some indicators, see which one gives us a better return. Okay. Right. So what we will do in this instance, okay, let's have a look at the introduction of perhaps of the RSI, the relative strength index. Okay, so let's introduce the relative strength index. We'll leave it with this default, a 40 day period moving average. Okay, and let's let this continue on its journey. Okay, and we need to understand like whether the win rate, okay, that this is really important. How many trades are a win versus how many are a loss, and what we can actually identify by introducing the RSI, and whether we can use the RSI as a way to reduce false signals. Okay, so let's carry on. This trade, we took it on the buy side. The RSI is currently sitting um, around the 40 mark. Okay, 40 in value. Okay, so we'll see what happens next as we continue moving forward. That actually turned out to be a win, right? Because it's usually the way the RSI works is that on a 14-day sort of period, there's these upper and lower bands, right? The most common ones are 30 and the upper band being a 70 sort of in value, okay? Um, it is said that when the price or the RSI is below the 30, it's an oversold market, and when the price, the RSI is above 70, is an overbought market. And so kind of giving you an indication that the market could turn around, right, from to the downside. And when it's below 30, the market is probably going to bounce to the upside, right? So a lot more we can discuss on the indicators, but trust me, I expect you to read up on, what the RSI is through various YouTube channels, Chat GPT. There's a lot of information on RSI. So I really just want to focus on making profitable bots. And I do expect you to do your research on the various indicators as well. So we'll carry on. Let's see what we can identify here. So we haven't had any good trades up to this point. Right. Bollinger Bands expanding. They're narrowing down. Right now, they are what we can see. Let's have a look how this one turns out. The market crossed the lower band. Then the next candle was across the lower band on the upside. We took the trade to the upside. The RSI was above 30, kind of indicating a little bit of strength in the market. And then the trade didn't turn out, right? So it didn't hit target, so the trade just came back down. Okay. Um, right? We're just observing here just to see how we can use RSI potentially as a way to filter out trades, right? What's another observation is that the upper and the lower band, it's not widening, right? It's pretty narrow, which means that the market is there's it's not trending, yeah. So we're trading on a really narrow sort of range. That's something else to consider as well. We might introduce something to help us detect, oh, we're in a narrow range, right? Do also notice that the RSI is kind of sitting in the middle, right? It's neither in the oversold or overbought, right? Sort of ranges. So I think let's have a look at some trades where the market is trading above the 70 and the 30 sort of values. See if we can find one. Right now, the market is below 30, indicating oversold, but no trades were found in that instance. Oh, there was one there. Again, what happened? It was on the upside, crossed the Bollinger Band, and it went up, took the trade, but then the market went down. We can also see the moving average, right? The 20 period moving average of the Bollinger Band. The price hasn't crossed above it. So kind of another clue that the market is actually trending down, and we're trying to counter trend the market by taking the trades on the upside, right? That's another observation. So far, okay, we can look at a number of things to improve our bot, right? We can look at maybe the RSI and only take trades when it's below the 30 value, right? Sort of indicating that the market is on the oversold side, and maybe having a look at only taking sell trades when the market is overbought above the 70 sort of 70 sort of value. Okay, we can have a look at maybe only taking trades when the price is below the moving average. We can also have a look at taking trades when the Bollinger Band is expanding and it's got a wide sort of gap between the upper and the lower band, and maybe prevent trades being taken in narrow ranges, right? So we've got three different tactics here that we can possibly look at. So I look at some more trades. All right, took another one. RSI is only floating around the mid range, very narrow band, right? Very narrow band, right? It's only about 24 pips between the two bands, so it wasn't a successful trade. Right, again, floating in the middle, but yet that one was a successful trade. Very long sort of body in that candle, right? And then overshadowed by the next candle, indicating pressure on the downside. It hit the upper band, okay, and then it took the trade on the next, and then it took profit, right? Later on, we start looking at risk management. What's the average value of how much can we start bringing in techniques like break-even points and trailing profits and all that sort of stuff to maximize profits. But for now, we're just trying to observe what other instruments we can bring into this bot to make a profit. And the more you play and backtest your bots in the way I'm doing, right, you start observing and you start getting a feel for what the market is doing, the patterns. Okay, another one here. See long body on the upside, nice bullish candle, and then there was a piercing line here, right? Piercing line right there. So these are all candle patterns that you need to know. And then we took the next trade, and it was a profit trade there, right? Okay, you can see that two losses in a row there. Okay, these are the sort of need to really try to filter this out, right? The RSI is increasing. You can see the RSI is on the upside there. Okay, and we're trying to take trades on the short side, right? We're not really putting the probabilities on our side. Remember, the whole point of this game is to trade over a series of trades is where you find your edge, right? It's not about what the outcome of a specific single trade. It's about how do we put the probabilities on our side, and trying to take trades on the sell side when an RSI is increasing. It's probably not gonna you're not putting the odds in your favor. Okay. Also, the other thing that you can see is that the Bollinger Band is widening, right? It's showing strength on a specific side of the market, right? So all these things, we're going to make sure that the bot is not taking too many trades on the short side when it's doing that, and vice versa on the buy side, right? We don't want the RSI to be weakening and going down, and then trying to put trades on the upside, and the moving average is actually heading down as well, right? That's not going to work in your favor. All right, we're going to leave it there for now. We're going to introduce maybe having a look at how we can introduce perhaps an RSI indicator to filter out trades, and then we can discuss what we've done and how we're going to test it to see if that has changes the profitability of the bot. Okay, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for now, and just a little plug. Don't forget to visit our Facebook page, MultiFX Trading and Automation. Okay, so please do go there and have a look. I do keep these up to date, and I post a lot of tips and tricks on what to do, and all the YouTube videos that we continue to create. I also introduce course materials in which you can learn how to become a trader, right? Learning from 15 years of experience. Okay, I'll see you guys shortly. Take care. See you in the next one.